Hi there, my name's Carolyn Dunn and I'm a dot mandala artist, and I would love to welcome you to my channel. Today let's go from this to this on a 14-inch MDF board with 16 segments. Because I already have a hanger installed on the back, I'm indicating where the top is just for orientation's sake. Okay, so here's our color palette for this 14-inch round we're doing. Liquitex Basics acrylic fluid in the titanium white, and then we've got Purple Flash in the Folk Art color shift, Orchid Flash, Aqua Flash, Pink Tourmaline in the CraftSmart Multi-Surface Premium Ultra Bright Metallic. In the DecoArt Metallics, we've got Teal, Glorious Gold, Purple Pearl. We've got some Nuvo drops, glitter drops, Sugar Plum. Sugar Plum, isn't that nice? And then in the DecoArt Americanas, we have Royal Fuchsia, Bubblegum Pink, Lavender, Wild Orchid, Desert Turquoise, and Bahama Blue. Okay, let's get to it. And we're going to go in with 12.5 and the Glorious Gold. Okay, we have our gold center dot in, and now I've put in a design that I hope we can stick to. We shall see. So after our gold center dot, we're going to do a few rows of dots, and then we're going to be putting in some flowers. We've sketched in some circles there, and they are 1 1/8 inch circles. Okay, so you just get on this line here and you put your circles in all the way around. And the center of these circles is 3 1/8 inch from the center of your piece. So once I got those circles in there, I cut out a template so I could get my center line in all of those, because I want to bring swooshes to the center in all of those circles. Then after that row of circles, we're going to do alternating swooshes, 4 1/8. Okay, so from the center of the circle to the bottom of where those swooshes are going to be is 4 1/8 inch from center. Then here I have put in some circles this way using the 3 1/4 inch circle. And I want the midlines to meet at the top of those swooshes, and then your center line should meet on that center line. And then you just carry that all the way around. And then following that, I wanted to put in this circle going the other way. So I used the same 3 1/4 inch, and I brought it just below the swooshes, and then just as far as it came across on either side. And from there, I hand sketched this in, but I just sort of took that line across and down into a peak there. And we'll hopefully be putting in swooshes there, unless we change our mind when we get there. After that, we'll be putting in flowers here, and I have not decided what to do in the negative space there yet. But pretty good for planning on my part, because I usually don't plan. I would do 1/2 centimeter circles all the way around. That gives you lots and lots of guidelines. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Okay, we're starting with Bahama Blue, and we're just going to create dots using the 2.5 millimeter or large end of the blue tool, and we're going to make dots all the way around. Lovely. We'll go in with the Desert Turquoise. Again, the large end of the blue tool, and we're just going to go in between those circles. Now we're going in with Bubblegum Pink, And we'll go in with the green tool. Royal Fuchsia, right on that line. This wasn't pre-planned, but I decided to drag those dots into swooshes down in between the dots below them using the needlepoint tool. Lavender. Wild Orchid. And we're just going to use the small end of the green tool, and we're going to tuck in beside those lavender dots. Okay, we're going in with the number 10 dotting tool and the Bahama Blue, and we're just going to place some flower bases there without getting them into the other paint. And we're putting them in every other space. Okay, we've gone around and we've placed our dots in, and using the large end of the blue tool, 2.5 millimeter, we put in the wild orchid and the lavender, and then using the large end of the green tool, 3.0 millimeter, we put in the purple flash, and the titanium white. And now we're just walking these dots down, and we're walking down these wild orchid ones with the large end of the yellow tool. And we're moving on to, let's move up to the pink tool in the lavender. Now we've graduated to the 2.0 millimeter tool, and we're using that purple flash paint to create these rows of dots now. And now we're using the large end of the blue tool, the 2.5 millimeter tool, to walk these white dots down. We won't walk them all the way down, but just as far as they'll go and meet evenly. Now I want to place some tiny Bahama Blue dots in between those flowers, and so we'll be using the large end of the white tool, the 2.0 millimeter tool. Now we're putting in some top dots using the large end of the white tool and the Orchid Flash paint. Love how that changes its color. And let's go ahead and put our center dots in our circles. And they are not going to be very large. Yeah, let's do a 5. And they're going to be in white, titanium white. And we're going right on there. There we go, all the way around. Let's go in on that lavender and top dot with the flash paint. Okay, so I want to put swooshes in these circles. I know the center of that circle is just a tad bit above there. And then I'm splitting these in half. Splitting them in half again. And this way I'll know where my swooshes need to be. Okay, so that's got them done all the way around. So let's start with the purple flash. And we'll be using the 1mm tool, the large end of the pink tool, to create these swooshes. So there's 4 colors, there are 16 segments, so each color should go in 4 times. Well, let's just start here, shall we? Our next set of swooshes are in the Orchid Flash. And we're starting with the large end of the pink tool, and then we're dragging down with the small end. Look at how that Orchid Flash changes in color. Gorgeous. Okay, now we're going in with the Aqua Flash. Let's just start. Okay, our last swoosh there is going to be in the pink tourmaline in the CraftSmart Multi-Surface Premium Ultra Bright Paint. All the way around. Yay! Okay, let's put in some tourmaline swooshes in there. And we'll do this trio of swooshes with the large end of the pink tool. Okay, so we're going to go in and top dot these Bahama Blue dots with the Dazzling Metallics Teal 6.5. All right, we're going to go in with the teal again, and we're going to create dots in a circle all the way around using the 3mm tool. Okay, so we'll start with the purple flash, large end of the pink tool, 1.0mm tool, and we'll just start on the lines. And we're going to take that and we're going to drag that up. Next line, take that, drag it up. We're using the 1mm tool, the large end of the pink tool, with the titanium white, and we're going to dot along these sections while we're waiting for those swooshes to dry. Okay, I've sketched in some diamonds, and now I'm sketching in some other lines that are going to carry on the lines from the tips of those sort of oval shapes, eye shapes, to the top. As you can see, I've painted in these diamond shapes. Oh, I started with the Aqua Flash, then I added Dragonfly Glaze, and none of that will stay because I decided in the end that the Tourmaline Pink would be the best. You know me, I change my mind a lot. Okay, so I wasn't totally happy with those, so I'm trying something new here. I just want to fill this in with loads of paint. My only concern is how long it's going to take to dry, but that is what it is now. Because I always say, just try something new. Just try it. You don't know until you try it. Right? So I kind of like trying it with you guys, and then sometimes I think, what if it doesn't work out? Well, then if it doesn't work out, you'll know not to do it. That's what I say. Anyway, I think I love this color. And then we can go in and touch up the edges with black if we need to crisp them up. I don't know. What do you think? So I've decided on the Aqua Flash to outline these shapes that I've created, and we're using the 1mm or the large end of the pink tool. Okay, it's time for some swooshes. And we're starting off with the Orchid Flash using the large end of the pink tool or the 1mm tool. And just make sure that you start the top of your swoosh at the same spot in every one of those little shapes. Same tool, using the Aqua Flash and starting just a little bit lower. And just drag those swooshes down. And I've switched to the small end to drag it down because that space is getting tight. And now it's time for some purple flash. Very flashy. A bit of a squeeze, but we're going to get some pink tourmaline in for those baby swooshes. Small end of the pink tool. And something smaller if needed. Alright, so using the 4.5mm tool, let's add some glorious gold dots above those swooshes, or rather below those swooshes. Alright then, we know we still have to do those alternating swooshes, but this pink here is still pretty wet, so we're going to go in with the number 12 tool and we're going to place some Bahama Blue flower bases above those diamonds. And we're going to go on that line just above there, just like that. And of course, we'll pop those bubbles. And there we are, all the way around. We'll just check for bubbles. Now we'll put in all of the uppermost dots for this flower's petals, and we're starting with the wild orchid and using the large end of the green tool. Next is lavender. This pattern's a little bit different for me, and I like that. And still using the green tool. I'm just trying to leave enough room for the white, and so let's get back in there, Lavender, and do your job. And last but not least is the titanium weight. And still going in with the green tool. I have no idea at this time what we're going to do in between these, but we'll figure it out. I say even getting this much of a pattern in, that's pretty good for me. So now I'm using the white tool to start off these dots. Okay, now in with the purple flash. And now let's finish up these white dots. We're using the green tool, the 3.0 millimeter tool, and we're walking the dots one by one down until we get to the point that we can just run the last couple. All the way around. Okay, let's get those alternating swooshes in the pink tourmaline. Got it mixed up here already. And we're just using the yellow tool, the 0.5 millimeter tool, to put these in. Okay, let's add some dots in here with the 9.5 millimeter tool and the Wild Orchid paint. Now we're going in with the Bahama Blue and the 9.5 millimeter tool to add some dots to those tourmaline pink diamonds. I think that's going to be beautiful. And now, let's top dot those flower dots with the metallic teal using the 8.5 tool. Yeah, love it. As you can see, I've painted in some diamonds in between the flowers and just on either side of where the swooshes are. And I've painted them in Orchid Flash. And in the middle of those, I want to put a swoosh, and then I'm going to dot around the swooshes. So you know me, I like to start with the dots from the top so I don't run out of room. And we're starting with a white dot, the uppermost dot, and we're using the large end of the pink tool, 1.0 millimeter tool. And our next dot down is in lavender, and we're using the large end of the white tool, 2.0 millimeter. And still using the white tool, we're putting in desert turquoise dots below the lavender. And now it's time for those tourmaline pink swooshes using the large end of the white tool. Now, using the 0.5mm tool, we're going to walk those desert turquoise dots down around that pink tourmaline swoosh. Let's walk those lavender dots. And let's get those white dots down. Okay, let's take some of that metallic teal and let's dress up these diamonds. And we'll just make some little swooshes using the yellow tool and just bring it down halfway to the point there. And we'll do that on either side and all the way around. Oh, we are getting there, aren't we? Looking good. So now we're using the yellow tool, 0.5mm tool, to walk some white dots down either side of that diamond. Okay, so now let's put in some pink tourmaline dots just beneath those diamonds where the little swooshes are. Perfect. Time for some more metallic teal top dots. We're using the 5.5 tool and we're top dotting the dots that are on top of our pink diamonds. I love top dots. And now I'm envisioning some gold feathers that I want to put down in between on either side of the flowers. So I'm just using a really fine tip tool to sketch in or to paint in these golden feathers. Okay, we're going in with a number 6 and some of this metallic purple. Now let's get some little touch-ups done. Got our black base coat, and we'll just go over some of these that do not belong. Okay, now we're using the green tool and we're just placing some swooshes running from here, and this is in the purple pearl. That's better, I like that. Now let's put some of those metallic teal swooshes in right here, all the way around. Now using the green tool, we're just going to fill in those spaces there with a couple of teal dots. Okay, this has had a few days to dry now, so I'm going to go in and take out our guidelines. And we're looking for anywhere that we need to touch up as well. Me, trying to decide what to do next. Thank goodness for editing, or you'd be waiting a long time. I need more top dots. And let's have them in Purple Flash. Yeah, so we'll go with the 3 for these ones here. The 3.5 for these outer dots. Okay, I am absolutely loving the Nuvo drops. Love, love, love them. So I'm going to add them to my other spots there that have the flash paint on them, because I just want to. So here we go. Love it. Now some tiny little ones on here. And then down to these ones. All the way around. Yes, 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 I love them. Okay, and that is all she wrote for the paint. Now we'll let that dry, and next step will be varnish. I'd love it if you would take a moment to subscribe, like, or share my video. Thank you. Okay, let's get this piece ready for varnish. So I'm going to dust it off, make sure there's no dust anywhere, and some varnish. And I will give this piece 3 coats of varnish. Some for the mate, and now we'll just come across. And here is our finished piece, Serendipity. It's beautiful. I love it. I love the colors. I love the sheen on it. I love the Nuvo drops. I love all the different elements. And I'm especially fond of these swoosh flowers. Once again, thank you so much for joining me on this journey into serendipity. I'd love to hear your feedback and any suggestions you have for future videos. Remember folks, keep on dotting.